Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to A Course in Miracles, Hardcore Course in Miracles, here on Facebook Live. And our topic is going to be, how do you really hear and listen to the real truth and know the truth and practice the truth and what gives you peace and what gives you love in your everyday life? How do you tell the difference between when you're listening to the wrong voice inside of yourself and when you're listening to the right voice inside of yourself? Your true guidance. We're going to talk about that in the Course in Miracles, and we're going to allow ourselves to get centered a little bit by hearing a little music from our brother John Christmas at www.johnchristmas.com. You can get this music for free, and the name of this tune is Teach Only Love. Breathe, take a deep breath. Teach only love. That is what you are. Only love. Yes, that is what you are. Teach only love. That is what you are. Yes, 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 yes. Teach only love. Everywhere you go, teach only love. To everyone you know, teach only love. Love is what you are. Hey, yeah. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Teach only love. Each and every day, teach only love. In your own special way, teach only love. Love is what you are. Teach only love. That's straight from A Course in Miracles. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, because that's what you are. What are you? Teach only love, for that is what you are. I'm Earl Purdy. I'm glad to share Hardcore Course in Miracles with you. I'm your remembering coach. Hello, mighty companion. I am your remembering coach. I'm your divine repetition teacher. After 43 years of teaching and learning the course, there's nothing more important than repeating the truth and remembering it. So remember only this. Only remember this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas, you may actively resist some of the ideas. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you will find quite startling. Do you know that you are not being asked to judge or analyze the ideas in A Course in Miracles at all? Do you know that the use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. What? Using the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Did I say using the ideas, not analyzing the ideas? That's exactly what I said, because that's what the Course in Miracles teaches, that using the ideas, that's what will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. Don't forget, the Course in Miracles is always working with your perception, the way that you see things. We're going to be in the Course in Miracles Blue Book, the Foundation for Inner Peace version of A Course in Miracles. And we're going to be on lesson 106. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. It's in the workbook. It's in the workbook of A Course in Miracles, lesson 106, page 190. Page 190 in the Course in Miracles in the workbook section. The Course in Miracles has 3 sections: the text, the workbook, and the manual for teachers. We're in the workbook section in the middle, and it's on page 190. Let me be still. I say, let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Take a breath and say it. Repeat it to yourself. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. All right, I hope you're ready. Do you know that if you will lay aside the ego's voice, do you know that if you will lay aside the fearful voice in your mind, do you know that if you will lay aside the voice of anger, the voice of fear, the voice of doubt, the voice of separation, the Course in Miracles calls that the ego's voice. If you will lay aside the voice of your false self, and you have to lay aside that voice of fear, however loudly that voice for fear and worry might seem to call, if you will not accept the petty gifts that give you nothing that you really want, do you know that if you will listen with an open mind, what kind of mind that you need? What kind of mind do you need to listen to this with? You need to listen to the truth with an open mind. So what would be the characteristic of listening to the truth with an open mind? Well, if you're listening to the truth, if you're listening to this with an open mind, then you're listening with a mind that hasn't already told you what peace and love and salvation is. So if you have an open mind, then you're listening to me and you're listening to the course with a voice. And you're listening to the Course in Miracles, and you're listening with an open mind. Well, the Course has an open mind is a mind that hasn't told you what salvation is, what right-mindedness is. So what happens if you listen with an open mind? If you listen with an open mind, do you know if you listen with an open mind, you're going to hear the mighty voice of God. You're going to hear the mighty voice of love. You're going to hear the mighty voice of truth. Do you know that the voice for truth inside of you is trying to guide you in this situation that you're in right now? That this circumstance that you're in right now, do you know that in this situation that you're dealing with right now, do you know that in this relationship issue that you're dealing with right now, if you listen to what I'm about to say to you with an open mind, then you're going to hear the mighty voice of God. You're going to hear the mighty voice of truth. So what's the characteristics of the voice of God? What is the characteristic of the voice inside of you that's telling you the truth? Well, the voice inside of you that's telling you the truth, it's quiet. It's a quiet voice. It's quiet in power. It's strong. The voice of God in you, the voice of truth in you is strong in stillness. And how can you tell when you're listening to the voice of truth? The voice of truth is completely certain in its messages. So when you're listening to your real self, there's no doubt in that voice. When you're listening to your true self, that voice is quiet in its power. And when you're listening to your real self, when you're listening to your divine self, when you're listening to your God self, it's a strong voice. And most of all, do you know you can tell when you're listening to your true voice? Because when you're listening to your true voice, it's a voice that's certain in its messages. So what am I doing? This lesson is telling you how to tell the difference between when you're listening to the voice that you are making up and when you're really listening to the voice of God, the voice of truth, the voice of love. Do you know that there are two voices or two choices? You're either going to listen to the voice that has learned things from the world, that's full of fear and uncertainty and doubt, or you're going to listen to the voice of God in you, the voice of love in you. Do you know that when you're listening to the voice of God, you're listening to a voice that's quiet, strong, and certain? The voice of God, the voice of light, the voice of truth in you is quiet, strong, and certain. Does that mean then that if you listen to a voice that's full of doubt and fear, that you're not really listening to your true voice? That's exactly what it means. So the next paragraph says, what you want to do is listen. And you want to listen. And what happens when you listen? It says, listen and hear your Father, your Creator, speak to you through his appointed voice. So that means that which created you, the higher power, is always speaking to you. But it's speaking to you through the voice that it appointed to speak to you from within. And when you listen to the voice of God, when you listen to the voice of Spirit, when you listen to the voice of the truth, the Course in Miracles says it's going to silence the thunder of the meaningless. The Course in Miracles calls the voices of the world, the beliefs of the world that are rooted in separation and fear and anger and guilt. Said that those voices he calls the meaningless. So we want the voice of love and the voice of truth. And what does it do? He says that voice silences the thunder of the meaningless. And the true voice that's been given you by the divine, what's another characteristic of the voice that's been given you by the divine? He says, well, when the voice of God speaks through you and speaks to you, it shows the way to peace, to who cannot see. So if you don't see peace in your life, whatever area it is that you don't see peace in your life, that's the area of your life that you're not listening to the right voice, that you're not listening to the voice of the higher power. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There is a voice in you that's been appointed by the divine in you, and that voice in you will show you the way to peace in this situation that you're in right now, in this circumstance that you're dealing with right now. And you know the situation and circumstance that I'm talking about. You know what you've been dealing with and wondering about. Well, know that there's a voice in you. There's a voice in you that will show you the way to peace when you can't see the way to peace. So what is it you need to do today? Well, it says in the next line, be still today and listen. Be quiet and listen. Be quiet and listen. Be still and listen. So what is it you need to listen to? You need to listen to the truth. That means you need to listen to the voice of love. You need to listen to the voice of peace. So when you're not hearing a peaceful voice, if you're listening to a voice that's not a peaceful voice, if you're listening to a voice that's full of worry and concern and upset, then you are not listening to the voice of God. You're not listening to the voice of truth. I'll say it again. It's not complicated. The voice in you that's full of doubt, that like right now, if there was a voice in you that has doubt about what you're hearing me say right now, that's not the voice of truth. Why? Because you've already been told if you're listening to the voice of truth, it's going to be a voice that's completely certain in its messages. It would be a voice that does not have any doubt. It's a voice in you that has no conflict. And so that's the voice of truth. So what is it that you must make sure that you are not being deceived by? What's the next line? Be not deceived by voices of the dead. Do you know the Course in Miracles calls people who don't know the truth and people who don't know that they're one with everything and people who don't know that love is the only answer to anything? The Course in Miracles calls those dead people. Dead people are people who don't know that love is the answer. Peace is the answer. Oneness is the answer. Taking responsibility for your experience is the answer. People who don't know that they are spiritual beings, having a human experience. People who blame, people who project, people who see themselves as a victim of everything and see their brothers and sisters as threats. Those are people that the Course in Miracles calls dead people. People who are not sharing the truth. So be not deceived by voices of the dead. Because what would the voice of the dead tell you? Well, the Course says, be not deceived by voices of the dead, which tell you they have found the source of life and offer it to you for your belief. Don't listen to the ego. Don't listen to the voices of people who are afraid and angry and feel guilty and have forgotten their true spiritual identity. Don't pay attention to voices that tell you they found the source of life and offer it for your belief. If those voices are coming from a place of fear, or those voices are coming from a place of separation, do not attend those voices, but listen to the truth. Don't attend the voice inside of you that's full of fear and anger and upset and doubt. Don't listen to the voice inside of you that's full of separation, fear, anger, and doubt. Do not pay attention to the voices of other people that's coming from a place of fear and anger and separation and doubt. Don't attend them. What should you do? Listen to the truth. Listen to the truth. What's important is for you to listen to the truth. Listen to the truth. The first stage of hearing the truth and moving toward the kind of happiness that you really want is allowing yourself to just be willing to listen to what I'm saying from A Course in Miracles. Remember, you don't need to believe what I'm saying. You don't need to accept what I'm saying. You don't need to welcome what I'm saying from A Course in Miracles. Some of the ideas you may resist. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some of the ideas might startle you. You're not being asked to judge and analyze the ideas at all. It's their use that will give the ideas meaning to you, and it's their use that will show you that the ideas are true. But first, what is the first thing you need to do? The first thing you need to do is listen to the truth. Listen to what you're being told right now. I want to take a minute to let you know that I'm going to be taking off in the month of January 2024. So there will not be any live hardcore Course in Miracles presentations in January of 2024. So I just want you to know that, okay? There's not going to be any Thursday night live classes in January of 2024. So pay attention to this class, the last one of this year, particularly to what's being said. So you need to not be afraid to circumvent the voices of the world. Don't be afraid to not believe what the world believes. Don't be afraid to think differently from the way the world thinks. Don't be afraid to do what? Don't be afraid to circumvent the voices of the world. So what should you do when you're listening to people around you that are coming from a place of fear and coming from a place of separation? What you should do is you should walk lightly past their meaningless persuasion. In other words, don't listen to people who are coming from a place of fear, projection, anger, and guilt. Anyone that's coming from a place of fear, separation, anger, and guilt, do not listen to them. They are not representing the voice for truth and the voice of love. Anyone that's coming from a place that they're telling you to use anger and attack and guilt and separation in any situation, you need to walk lightly past their meaningless persuasion. Don't listen to those people. Don't listen to that voice of anger, guilt, projection, and separation inside your own mind. So what should you do today? Be still. Be quiet and listen to the truth. Listen to the truth. Listen to, if you're a Course in Miracles student, listen to what the Course in Miracles is saying to you. You don't have to believe it or accept it at first. The first stage to changing your mind, the first stage to changing your mind to a new way of thinking is don't you know that you have to be willing to listen to the new way of thinking? If you really want to change and you want to have a change in your experience and you want to have a change in your life, then you have to do what? You have to be still and listen to the truth. Be quiet and listen. And what should you do? Who should you go past? Who is it or what is it that you should not even pay attention to? Who is it that you should not even listen to? What voice is it that you should not even listen to? Well, the Course in Miracles says, go past all things which do not speak of God, love, who holds your happiness in its hand, held out to you in welcome and held out to you in love. So who is it you need to go past? Who is it that you need to not pay attention to? Anybody that's not speaking of love. Anyone that's not speaking of peace. Anyone that's not speaking of oneness. Anyone that's not speaking of God. You need to go past everything and anything and anyone that's not speaking of God, that's not speaking of love. Do you know that do you know that your Creator holds your happiness in his hand, held out to you in welcome and held out to you in love? So who should you hear today? Only hear God today. Only hear the voice of love and truth today. Only hear the loving voice. Because you know whether or not you're hearing a voice of love or you're hearing a voice of conflict and fear. Come on. You know when you're listening to something that's speaking of oneness and peace, and when you're listening to a voice inside your mind, or when you're listening to another person that's speaking from a place of fear and anger and guilt and separation. The Course in Miracles, what does it do? Well, it gives you very specific instruction. It says, don't be afraid to circumvent the voices of the world. Don't be afraid not to pay attention to anything that the world of fear teaches you. Then it says, walk past its meaningless persuasion. Don't listen to it. Listen to the truth. Go past everything and everyone that doesn't speak of love and peace. It tells you your Creator is holding your happiness in its hand, holding that happiness out to you in welcome, and holding that happiness out to you in love. So what is it you're supposed to do? Hear only the truth today. Hear only the voice of love today. Hear only the truth today. Listen only to love and truth today. And then if you're wondering what that is, and you're a Course in Miracles student, it's right here in the Course in Miracles. So what is that telling you? It's telling you that you need to study this. You need to give this material your attention, because this material is letting you know how to tell the difference when you're listening to the truth and when you're listening to what's not true. It tells you how to hear the truth. And how are you going to hear the truth unless you walk past and don't pay any attention to voices that are not speaking the truth? And how can you tell when you're listening to a voice that's not speaking the truth? Well, when you're listening to a voice that's not speaking the truth, you're hearing a voice that's not speaking of love. It's a voice that's not speaking of peace. It's a voice that's not speaking of abundance and connection and unity and oneness. You listen to a voice that's using terms that represent separation and guilt and anger and attack. And whenever you hear that voice in yourself, or when you hear that voice in anyone else, you can say to yourself, what I'm listening to now is the wrong voice, because I know the right voice is going to be speaking to me of peace. The right voice is going to be speaking to me about unity and oneness and taking responsibility and connection. And if I'm not hearing a voice that's talking in a loving way, then I know I'm not listening to the truth. You're not ever listening to the truth whenever you're listening to a voice inside of you that's not giving you peace. It is not complicated. It is not complicated. Stop complicating things. If you're listening to a voice that's not giving you any peace, any harmony, that's making you feel afraid, whether that voice is inside of you or whether that voice is coming from somebody else, then you need to not pay any attention to it. Only hear God today. Only hear your Creator today. So what's going to happen today? Well, the next line says, hear only God today. Don't wait. Don't wait. Don't wait for what? Don't wait to reach God longer. Don't wait to reach love any longer. Don't wait to reach the divine any longer. So how do you stop wasting time with a lot of fear and upset and unhappiness and worry? Do you know that the way you do that is to hear just one voice today? Stop listening to two voices, the voice of love and the voice of fear, the voice of peace and the voice of conflict, the voice of abundance and the voice of lack, the voice of sickness and the voice of health. Stop listening to two voices. Hear one voice today. Only give credence to one voice today, not the voice of the world. You already see that the world has so much fear and conflict in it. And that fear and conflict is coming from the voice that these people are listening to in their mind. And they're not listening to the voice of God. Anybody that's coming from a place of separation, anger, and fear and guilt, they're not listening to the voice of love. They're not listening to the voice of truth. They're not listening to the voice of God. When you listen to that voice inside of you that holds grievances and is full of unforgiveness, or that voice that's full of fear and lack and the belief in sickness and separation, if you're listening to that voice, then that means you've got two voices you're listening to. Hear one voice today. Because today, God's promise is going to be kept. Today, your Creator's promise is going to be kept. But you have to hear. So how do you allow yourself to hear your Creator's promise? You allow yourself to hear the voice for God by being silent. Being silent. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Sit still. Be quiet. Give yourself some times that you are not concerned with the everyday situations and circumstances and problems that you perceive in the world. If you want out of this situation that's causing you any fear or conflict, you need to be quiet. And what happens when you're quiet? When you're quiet and you're not focusing your attention on your worries and your fears and what's going to happen in the future and what happened in the past, and you take a deep breath and you're willing to stop listening to the voice that you've made up, stop listening to that voice of fear you've made up, or the voice of fear and anxiety and upset in another person, then God would speak to you. If you really want to hear the voice of the divine, you have to be quiet. So what happens when you let God speak to you? What happens when you let the divine come into your life? What does the Course in Miracles say next? It says, God, the Creator within you, comes. How does God come? God will come with miracles. Miracles 1,000 times as happy and as wonderful as those you ever dreamed or wished for in your dreams. When you're listening to the voice of God, when you're listening to the voice of love, when you're listening to the voice of truth, it comes to you with miracles and more miracles. Miracles that are 1,000 times as happy and 1,000 times as wonderful as those you ever dreamed or wished for in your dreams. But God's miracles are true. Your Creator's miracles are real. Your Creator's miracles can be counted on. Be still and let yourself be helped. Be quiet a minute and stop telling yourself the things that the world tells you, which is to doubt, to have fear, to have separation, to think that you are alone, to think that you need to defend, to think that you need to attack. That is the voice of the dead in you. That is the voice of the dead in other people. Stop listening to the voices of the dead. Stop listening to the voices of the world. Stop listening to voices of fear. Stop. 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 Because when you hear the voice for the divine, it's going to come, the divine in you, God in you, is going to come with miracles 1,000 times as happy and as wonderful as those you ever dreamed of or wished for in your dreams, because your Creator's miracles are true. Your Creator's miracles are true. Love's expressions of love are true. Love's perceptions are true. God's perceptions are true. So what does it mean when we are told that the Creator's miracles are true? What does it mean when it says the Creator's miracles are true? It means that what comes from your Creator, what comes from your Creator, what comes from what is real in you, It will not fade when your dreaming ends. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. If it's real, it can't be threatened. If it's real, it cannot be threatened. If you have a real relationship, it cannot be threatened. If you have real abundance, it cannot be threatened. If you have real health based in love and truth, it cannot be lost. Anything that comes from God, anything that comes from real love, anything that comes from the truth, what's the truth about it? It will not fade. So when you let yourself have miracles, when you let yourself have a state of completion and abundance, when you let yourself have correct, loving expressions and perceptions, it will end your dreams. What? Yeah. The Course in Miracles is radical. It says you don't want a dream. A dream is something that's not real. A dream is something that doesn't last. A dream is something you can't count on. What you really want is reality. So the dream is anything that can end or suddenly change. Reality is only love. It's only peace. It's only safety. And it never changes. It only increases. But it was made to increase. So that means that reality never changes. It's always going to give you miracles. Reality is always going to give you love. Reality is always going to give you safety. A dream can end. A dream is a fantasy. Don't you want the reality of love more than you want the fantasy of love? Don't you want the reality of abundance more than you want the fantasy of abundance? Don't you want a happiness and a love and a peace that lasts forever? Wouldn't you want a love and peace and safety that lasts forever? And how can you make sure that you have a love and a peace and an abundance and a healing that will last forever? How can you make sure that that happens? Because it comes from God. It comes from your real love, real truth, real safety, comes from real love. Real love. Real love. And don't you think for 1 second that human beings give each other real love. Don't you think for 1 second that real love is exclusive, or that real love is special, or that real love could be temporary? Do you know that what can change was never love, according to the Course in Miracles? You don't love somebody and then fall out of love. Love never changes. Love is completely dependable. Love will always be there. Human love is not real love because it is conditional. How that person is treating you is based on a condition of some type. So you want miracles. Do you want miracles? Miracles are expressions of love that last forever. Do you want expressions of love that last forever? Because real love and real peace comes from God to you. So what is it you need to prepare yourself for? What is it that you need to prepare yourself for today? Listen to me, listen to me. Prepare yourself for miracles today. Prepare yourself for miracles today. Prepare yourself for miracles. Prepare yourself for miracles. So how do you prepare yourself for miracles? How do you prepare yourself for miracles? You allow your Creator's ancient pledge to you and all your brothers and sisters to be kept. Your Creator pledged that the Course in Miracles teaches that God's will for you is perfect happiness. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Your Creator's will for you is perfect, complete, total happiness. The universe only wants you to have perfect, total, and complete happiness. The universe, all that is, only wants you to have perfect, total, complete happiness. That's the ancient pledge. So what do you want to do? He says, well, you want to hear God's voice today. You want to listen to the word that lifts the veil. You want to listen to the truth that lifts your fear. You want to listen to the love that removes your fear. That's the veil. The veil is fear. The veil is anger. The veil is guilt. The veil is sickness. The veil is grievance. The veil is pain. How can you tell when there's a veil that's hiding the truth from you? It's when you feel what you think of as negative, fearful emotions. So you're listening to the word right now. You're listening to the word which lifts the veil that lies upon the earth. You are listening to the truth that lifts the fear that lies upon the earth. You're listening to the truth. Do you know that you're listening to the truth that wakes all those who sleep and cannot see? Do you know that anybody you know that's full of fear, anger, guilt, anybody you know that thinks they're separate, anyone you know that thinks they're just a body that dies one day, that's a person who is asleep to the truth. So do you realize that most of your brothers and sisters in this world, they are asleep? They are sleepwalking. They are sleepwalkers. Most of the people that you know, do you know that anyone that thinks they are separate from God, anyone that thinks that they are separate from love, anyone full of anger, guilt, and grievances, the Course says they are asleep and they can't see. So what is it that God is going to do through you? What is the divine going to do through you? Well, God is going to call to those who are asleep through you. Love is going to call to everyone through you. So what does God need from you? What does the divine need from you? God needs your voice. God needs to be able to use your body to speak to the people who are afraid, who think that they are separate, who are full of anger and guilt, broken into by periods in which they go to a movie. So God needs your voice. That's the same as saying, it's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing me let God use my voice. See, I'm using my voice to share the truth that's in the Course, right? So that means I am letting God use my voice to speak to you. Spirit is using my body and my voice to say these words of truth to speak to you. God needs your voice to speak to the people in your experience. Because who can reach the child of God except God speaking through yourself? How is the divine going to reach people in this world except through your body, your voice? Those on the invisible side need those on the physically visible side to allow ourselves to be used. You are here to allow your body to be used by the divine. Your body needs to be used so that God can speak to those in your experience through you. So what do you have to do? You have to hear your Creator today. You have to hear the truth today. You need to hear the voice for love and truth in you today. Or you could say you need to hear what the Course in Miracles is teaching you today. So what do you want to do right now? You want to offer God your voice to speak to all the multitude. Offer God your voice to speak to everyone. Offer God your voice to speak to everyone. Because there are a lot of people who are waiting to hear the word that God will speak today. Do you know there are a lot of people that are waiting to hear the word that love will speak through you today? So what is it that you need to do? Offer God your voice. Offer God your body. Offer God your body. Offer love your body to use, to speak to everyone who wants to hear words of love, who wants to hear the word that God will speak today. There are many brothers and sisters out there. There are many souls out there who want to hear what we are saying, who want to hear words of hope and words of love and words of freedom and words of truth. But God needs your voice, your body, to speak these words through you. So what is it you need to do? You need to be ready. What is it you need to be ready for? Be ready for salvation. Be ready for forgiveness. Be ready for right-mindedness. Be ready for peace. That's what the word salvation means from a Course in Miracles standpoint. Salvation means right-mindedness. Salvation means peace. Salvation means it's time for you to escape from the concepts and ideas and beliefs of the fearful, angry minds of the world. Your peace, salvation, your peace and happiness is here right now, today. What can give you peace and happiness is right here, right now. What can give you peace and happiness is right here, right now. These words, these truths that can give you peace and happiness, they are available to you right now. Why don't you hear them? The reason why you don't hear these words of peace and happiness is that you're still listening to what you have learned and what you believe. And you're not listening to the voice for truth. You're listening to the voices of the world, or the voices that you've made up that cause fear. So the truth and the healing and the love that you want and will today be given unto you. And will today be given unto you. So what are you going to do? Well, you're going to learn. What is it you're going to learn? You're going to learn your function. Who are you going to learn your function from? You're going to learn your function from the one who chose your function in your Creator's name for you. So what do? You listen. When do you listen? You listen today. So what are you going to hear when you listen and you hear the voice of your Creator? What is it that you're going to hear? What is that voice going to say? You will hear a voice. You're going to hear a voice that resounds throughout the world. So this voice of love, this voice of truth is going to resound throughout the world. How is it going to resound out through the world? This voice of truth, this voice of God is going to resound throughout the world through you. The voice for love, the voice for God is going to express itself through you. The voice for truth, the voice for love is going to express itself through you. Do you know that Jesus of the Course in Miracles, do you know that God is the bringer of all miracles? Miracles are its expressions of love and peace and states of completion and abundance and correct and true perception. That part of you that's trying to bring that love to you, the part that gives miracles to you and everyone else, it needs for you to receive the miracles first. So before you can give the miracles of love and peace and joy to anybody else, do you know you have to receive the good for yourself first? You have to receive the love that God is giving you for yourself first. Be willing to accept the miracles that you are going to give first. Be willing to accept the freedom that you are going to give first. Be willing to accept the health and the happiness that you want to give first. The bringer of all miracles has need that you receive the miracles first. And do you know that if you receive the healing, if you receive the miracles first, then you can become the joyous giver of what you have received. Let yourself receive the love first. Let yourself receive the peace first. And that's how healing starts, and that's how healing ends. When everything is yours, when you accept everything, everything is yours, everything is yours, everything is yours, everything is yours. When you accept everything is yours and everything is given away, I accept the love is mine, and then I give the love away. When you give it away, when you accept the love and the peace and the abundance and the happiness, and then you give it away, you share it, then the happiness and abundance and miracles Do you know they will remain with you forever? Whatever you want to keep, give it away. Give it away. Give ideas of love and peace and joy away. Do you know if you give ideas of joy and peace and love away, you'll have those ideas, and those ideas will become stronger, and you can keep those ideas of love and peace and joy forever. And then you know the lesson's been learned. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, today you're going to practice giving. But you're going to practice giving not the way you understand giving. You're going to practice giving. Do you know that you're going to practice giving right now, just as giving really is? So every hour should begin with this request. Every hour. What is the request? You're going to make a request for your enlightenment. I make a request for my enlightenment. I make a request for my enlightenment. Say to yourself, I make this request for my enlightenment. I make this request for my enlightenment. You make this request for your enlightenment by saying, I will be still and listen to the truth. I will be still and listen to the truth. What does it mean to give and to receive? What does it mean to give and receive? What does it mean to give and to receive? What does it mean to give and to receive? What does it mean to give and to receive? I will be still and listen to the truth. What does it mean to give and to receive? So what should you do? Ask. What does it mean to give and to receive? Ask. And then what do you do after you ask? What do you do after you ask what it means? What does it mean to give and receive? The next thing you do is you expect an answer. Ask and then expect an answer from God. Your request is a request whose answer has been waiting long to be received by you. Asking what it means to give and to receive will begin the ministry that you came to this earth for, a ministry that's going to free the world. You need to free the world, help free the world from thinking that giving is a way to lose. People think when they give something away, they don't have it anymore. Or when they share, there's not as much left for them. Our brothers and sisters who are listening to the voices of the dead, they don't realize that the way to have is to share and to give. Give the ideas that you want to receive. Give the ideas of peace and love and truth that you'd like to have in your life. So how does the world become ready to understand? How does the world become ready to receive? When you start to do what you came here on earth to do, which is to allow yourself to be the voice and the vehicle and the vessel for love and God to speak through. Be still and listen to the truth. Do you know that for each 5 minutes that you spend listening, do you know that for each 5 minutes that you spend listening to the truth, do you know that every 5 minutes that you've listened to what the Course in Miracles has been saying, that 1,000 minds are open to the truth? Every 5 minutes, another 1,000 minds are open to the truth because you have been spending 5 minutes listening to the truth and listening to what I'm saying. So you don't know it, but 1,000 minds have opened up to the truth every 5 minutes since you've been listening to this. And they are going to hear the healing word that you hear. And when the next hour passes, you will again release 1,000 more minds. You're going to release 1,000 more minds that pause long enough to ask that the truth be given to them along with you. So let me get this straight. For each 5 minutes you spend studying the Course and listening to this recording and listen to this presentation, there's 1,000 minds open to the truth. And as the hour passes, you can release another 1,000 minds who are pausing to ask the truth be given them just by you saying, I will be still and listen to the truth. What does it mean to give and to receive? If you say, I will be still and listen to the truth, what does it mean to give and to receive? 1,000 minds are opened every 5 minutes. So what does that mean? It means today the holy word of God is kept. It means today the healing word of love is kept. The healing word of God is kept. And how is the healing word of truth and God and love kept? It's kept through your receiving the words of truth and love and giving those words of truth and love away so that you can teach the world. What is it that you can teach the world? You can teach the world that what giving means. You can teach the world what giving means. And how do you teach the world what giving means? You teach the world what giving means by listening to what I'm saying from A Course in Miracles, by giving the Course in Miracles your attention and your study. That's what listening means. It means listening to these words. So you can teach the world what giving means. And you can teach the world what giving means by listening and learning of God, listening and learning of truth and love. Don't forget today. What is it that you must not forget today? Don't forget to reinforce your choice. Don't forget to reinforce your choice to hear. Don't forget to reinforce your choice to receive the word. Don't forget to reinforce your choice to receive this truth by this reminder. You want to reinforce your choice to hear the truth. You want to reinforce what? Your choice to hear the loving thoughts, the freeing thoughts, the healing thoughts, the miracle thoughts. Well, how do you do that? Well, you give yourself a reminder. How often will you give yourself this reminder? As often as is possible. As often as possible, tell yourself this. As often as possible, tell yourself this. As often as possible, remind yourself of this. As often as possible, remind yourself of this. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. I am the messenger of God today. My voice is God's voice to give what I receive. So how do you remind yourself? How do you remind yourself of the truth that's going to set you free? How do you remind yourself of the truth that's going to present and produce miracles in your perception and miracles in the situations and circumstances that you're dealing with right now? If you want a miracle, what you just heard in this session and in this section was exactly how to have miracles. Miracles, expressions of love, states of completion and abundance, healings, forgiveness. How do you have that happen? You have heard it. You have heard it in this section that I have covered with you. So you might have to listen to it over and over again, at least 4 times, because you may be tempted to hear your beliefs and your doubts and your fears, that voice, instead of the voice of the truth in you. So how do you hear that voice for truth in you? You say to yourself, let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. I am the messenger of God today. I am the messenger of God today. I am the messenger of love today. I am the messenger of love today. I am the messenger of love today. I am the messenger of truth today. I am the messenger of truth today. Say that. My voice is God's voice. My voice is love's voice. My voice is truth's voice. My voice is His to give what I receive. Make that choice. Allow yourself to have miracles. Don't listen to the voices of the dead. People who believe that their bodies are separate and full of grievances and are hanging on to the past and projecting and blaming and depressed and attacking. Those are the voices of the dead. You are here to let the truth be known. I'm going to do a quick, short recap. First of all, I'm going to remind you that in the month of January 2024, there will not be a live Course in Miracles Thursday night class, okay? There are tons and tons of videos on YouTube and on Facebook for you to listen to. Hang in there a minute. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, I want to thank you for what you've already shared with me. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a full-time teacher. I'm a full-time teacher. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, then you can use Venmo, the Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, or Square. Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Zelle, or Square. All you need is my email address, and my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. I'm available for one-on-one sessions that are sessions of mentoring, coaching, counseling, and advising. If you'd like to have a one-on-one session with me, either mentoring, coaching, counseling, and advising, giving you insight into situations that you know you're ready for healing, they're called clarity sessions. Go to my website. It will explain my clarity sessions in detail, and you can self-book a session with me right from the website. I love to work with you. I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist. The course teaches that spirit can use whatever your skills. So that also means if you'd like to have a reading from me and through me, I'm available for that also. And you can do that on my website. On Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, I do another Facebook Live on the Course in Miracles. You can attend in person if you live in the Denver, Colorado area. It's at 1555 Race Street. 1555 Race Street, Denver, Colorado, 80206. 80206. You can attend in person, and you can watch it online on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. You can also watch my videos on YouTube. I upload all of my videos to YouTube. So I have hundreds of videos on YouTube that are available to support you through your request for miracles. Here we go. Take a breath. It's on the Earl Purdy page. So here we go. You ready? Are you ready? We're going to do what the Course is saying for a couple of minutes. Here we go. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. Are you ready? Let me be still and listen to the truth. Let me be still and listen to the truth. I am the messenger of God today. I am the messenger of God today. I am the messenger of God today. My voice is God's. My voice is God's to give what I receive. So let's say it. Let me say it for you first, okay? Let me say it for you first. So let yourself in, okay? Are you ready? Here we go. Let you be still and listen to the truth. You are the messenger of God today. Your voice is God's voice. Your voice is God's voice to give what you receive. Let you be still and listen to the truth. Let you be still and listen to the truth. You are the messenger of love today. You are the messenger of love today. You are the messenger of truth today. You are the messenger of truth today. Your voice is God's voice. Your voice is God's voice to give what you receive. What should you do? Give what you receive. What should you do? Give this truth that you have received. Let you be still and listen to the truth. You are the messenger of truth today. Your voice is the voice of truth to give what you receive. Mighty companion, you want to watch this. and you want to listen to this at least 4 times. And in this upcoming year, you are having in this year the opportunity to have miracles be given to you. Did you hear what I'm saying? Miracles to be given to you, not earned by you, not paid for by you, but miracles of healing and joy and peace given to you. And I've just told you exactly what you need to do to hear the voice of truth in you. If you don't know, you need to listen to this over and over and over again until you could repeat what this section, this lesson 109 is saying. Lesson 106. This is lesson 106. So you haven't really got lesson 106, let me be still and listen to the truth, until you could close that book and remember specifically what you were being told. So don't fool yourself. If you can't close the book and remember specifically what this lesson said, then you have not learned it yet. So you want to learn it so that you can have miracles. You deserve miracles. Mighty companion, listen to this or watch this at least 4 times. And please share the video, subscribe and follow my page. I love you. I need you. You are myself. We are one self. Mighty companion, may the course be with you. Thank you for tuning in to the live classes. Thank you for watching the replays. There will not be a Thursday night hardcore Course in Miracles live on Thursdays during the month of January 2024. May the course be with you. Love you.